Blackstone Audio presents Time of Death, a Stillwater General Mystery by Lucy Kerr. This book is read by Amy McFadden. To Danny and the girls, you are so nice to come home to. Prologue. Clem Jensen never considered himself a betting man. The riverboat casinos had never held his interest, except for their jumbo shrimp cocktails. Bingo at the senior center was only worth it for the brownies. 70-odd years of bad luck left him skeptical that fortune could blow fair. But he'd held his breath and rolled the dice, just this once. It wasn't right, what he'd done, but neither was what he'd seen. Now, his long shot was paying off. He might not be a betting man, but he'd gambled, and he'd won. Still, it gnawed at him. He believed in a day's pay for a day's work, more or less. He didn't trust what came easily, and this had come a hair too easily for comfort's sake. The gnawing feeling had grown, and his stomach had protested until he'd finally listened to his daughter's pleas. Laura had always been a worrier, and driven himself over to Stillwater General. The flu, no doubt. He should have gotten the shot she nagged him about every year, but he'd had other things on his mind. Now he'd have to take his medicine and let Laura fuss and fret. In no time, he and CJ would be back on the river, fishing for trout and largemouth bass. Next year, he'd get his shot without complaint. Next year, everything would be different. CJ would be healthy again. Laura would finally be rid of her slack-jawed weasel of a husband. Clem tugged at the brim of his cap and said a quick prayer of thanks that his grandson took after Laura, not the weasel. Spotting an ambulance in the rear-view mirror, he wrestled the van to the side of the road. Another rig followed close behind, lights and sirens wailing, and he wished, for an instant, he could hitch a ride. Shifting the rusted blue van back into drive took an effort that left his arm trembling, and the gnawing sensation grew stronger. The deal had been too easy, he thought, wiping away the sweat streaming down his face, like hustling pool. Stillwater General Hospital was lit up like a Christmas tree. The parking lot was full, cars painted red and white.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?